It's the end of Ruth and Beverly's first term at Minsterley Primary in Shropshire, which previously had little experience of EAL learners. The girls from the Philippines have now been here 3 months, so with language and social skills a priority, what strategies have the school used to support their learning?
I think for Beverly it must have been very strange because when she came here she couldn't really speak any English. The routines must have been very unusual and she must have felt quite insecure in that there must have been lots of things she would have wanted or lots of questions she would have liked to have asked but wouldn't have known how to have asked them.
When children start in this class in reception, I have an induction day for the parents where they come around and have a meeting and walk around the school. And obviously wanting to treat Beverly the same as everybody else, I invited her mum in and just went over a few things.
I asked her teacher, how's Beverly? And then they said, oh, she's good, she coped everything. Sometimes Beverly, she will ask me, is there any class tomorrow? I said no because it's Saturday or Sunday. She said, oh, I want to go to school. I said, why? I said, it's nice if you're here at home. No, because she enjoyed at school, she said.
We certainly did nothing about things like saying, well, where do you come from, making the big fuss of her and everything else. She didn't want that, and I could see that. She wanted to come in, she wanted to be accepted as being the normal kid in the class.
The school is creating opportunities for Ruth to be with her Year 6 peers, but as her arrival coincided with the SATs, she's still in the Year 5 class where her confidence is growing.
My idea for a story is that something scary, spooky or something like that. But suddenly the characters will notice that something weird is happening.
We found that it wasn't actually necessary for us to get resources in the Tagalog language because Ruth, as we found out fairly quickly, is quite good at reading and speaking English. So although in many ways it would have been quite nice to have had more resources in the Tagalog language to give them a bit of feeling of comfort, it wasn't actually necessary.
And I think we're gonna discover something in that spooky house. What's your difference?
As we have gone on, we've gone on to things like helping her to communicate with children back in the Philippines, and she has developed her own website.
Ito po yung stickies. Para din po itong mga parang email din po siya, kaso lang po mas pinaliit po kumbaga. Mas madali po ting mag-reply sa kanila.
And Ellie. What I've done with her a little bit on the carpet is made her sit at the front, so she's able to hear me properly and see everything. 14 lunch boxes. Would the busybodies like to go and count the lunch boxes and make sure there's 14? Now and again she does have to be told to listen on the carpet because she's got that chatty now that she's using more language. She's very, very chirpy. Tells the children to hurry up if they're coming in from playtime, tells them to shush on the carpet, understands the routine really, really well, and she's a joy to have in the class. I can have a good conversation with her, and I've noticed how well her language has come on, and she's just a very, very happy little girl. She's done incredibly well.
I was quite pleased actually, especially with the maths. She has come out at a level 3A in maths, and having looked through her papers and marked them, I feel that she's probably not used to the format.
Ruth's optional SATs results prove useful and revealing to Clive and Year 6 teacher Kim.
Handwriting and spelling are excellent. She got 18 out of 20 on the spelling test. And the 2 words she got wrong, I did make a note of them because really it's quite interesting. It was favourite and colourful, and she left the U out, which is the Americanised spelling. Yes. So I thought that was interesting.
Probably ought to give her those 2 then, hadn't we?
Because
in the Philippines, a lot of the English is very Americanised English. We've been able to call on the help of the Shropshire Multicultural Development Service, who, from their initial assessment, were able to give us the resources of a lady called Johanna Crawford, who comes in to work with the children now once a week, both Beverly and Ruth, and from her work and her assessments of the children, she's able to give us advice and support and a few strategies to move the children forward, particularly in language skills.
Friday at last, isn't it?
It's Wednesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, okay. But it's not, the month isn't Wednesday.
Oh,
No.
oh, yeah.
During my sessions of support, I try to always and naturally include some ideas and concerns that have arisen with the school and with the child and help to build their confidence by tackling the subject sometimes and using the language as well, because everything we discuss, there's a language input and a linguistic input to it, and I'm correcting all the time. Put the sun there. Come on, let's be optimistic. Excuse me. Oh, clouds and rain. That's really nice. What's the weather like? Miserable.
Yeah.
I bet that's a new word. Miserable. Can you say miserable?
Miserable.
Yeah, it means when something isn't really nice or something.
She has been able to peel the layers back a little bit more. She has been able to find out things like she could play the guitar well, and saying to me in front of Ruth considers herself to be a clever girl back in the Philippines, and she wants you to know that.
Very good. One, we had a problem with read. Read. What's yesterday? Yesterday I...
Read.
No, it's like
Read.
the colour. Yeah, can you find read in...
Since it started, my grammar was, a bit crazy, but when Mrs. Crawford teachers came here, my grammar improved, and I feel a lot more confident while she teaches me.
But remember what I said to you last week? We decided that it'd be good to sit up straight, a little bit straighter, not show that she's a bit withdrawn and wanting to hide away from her peers and her teachers. Smile, and as soon as you say smile, they're lovely, and she has such a... And I say how different and how lovely she looks.
Yeah.
Can you say relieved? In as much as I can for 6 weeks, I'm helping her with the English, but also preparing her for the big moves that there are. The transition for any child, mono or bilingual, from junior to secondary is quite a big step.
I learned some things that I didn't know before.
Oh, well, what a fantastic answer. I learnt some things that
I asked her last night, how's your English by now? And may naintindihan ka ba? Mas nag-i-improve ba ang English mo? Sabi ko sa kanya. Sabi niya, oo naman. She's very familiar now with the English languages than before when she first came here. It's very hard for her to listen because of the English accents. But now she can easily adapt.
To the ceiling, down to the floor, left to the window, right to the door. Papa loves me.
Well, Beverly doesn't stop talking now. She's like a little butterfly.
I was off school for 3 days poorly, and when I came back, I noticed her language had just come on so quickly. And obviously being only 5 years old, the change that happens in her and any other 5-year-old, it really happens quite dramatically.
Say now, I know my ABC next time. Can you sing with me?
Her nature's outgoing anyway, and I think sometimes the younger ones swim much quicker than the older ones do anyway when they're thrown into the language pool, so to speak. But Ruth will, she will come with time, and I think she's getting the confidence slowly, and she has got friends, which, if she's integrated, that's terribly important.
I've noticed recently, and certainly today, looking at her in the playground, that she's mixing with the older children a lot more than she was possibly 2 or 3 weeks ago.
If she has the opportunity to speak and the confidence and the time, and people take the time to listen to her, because obviously she's formulating what she wants to say, I think she'd make an awful lot more progress in the long term. It's still early days for her, but she's getting there. She's getting there at her own speed, which is terribly important, and with a smile at the end of the day, which says everything.
The strategies the school has implemented to help the girls settle in seem to have had a good effect, as they now feel part of the school. And importantly, so do their families. Ruth's mum and Beverly's brother have braved the rain. Before Ruth can race, the weather takes a further turn for the worse, and it's not long before head teacher Clive calls a halt to the proceedings. Not everyone is unhappy with the decision.
Sa kung saan kayo nag-summer camp, yung experience mo doon na maganda, pinto mo sa kanila.
In her last week at Minsterley, the staff arranged for Ruth to join the end-of-term residential trip with the Year 6 children she'll be with at secondary school.
Ito yung saan naman to?
Ako lang mag-isa nag-sign sa pond trekking.
Paano nangyari nagiging stable helper ka?
Pinakain ko yung kabayo.
Ganun lang?
Tapos binrush ko.
Ay, nalagaan mo.
At first I went here in England. I was a bit sad because our family left our relatives in the Philippines. All of them were crying, sobbing.
Right, Mum. Airmail letter is 78 pence.
Okay.
Few months later, I noticed that we can adjust here in England for my mom's work.
Bye-bye to you.
Bye.
See you again.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Dati kapag galing sila sa school, nagkulong lang siya sa kwarto. Nakikinig lang siya ng music. But now, she is waiting for her friends so they can go to the park and play with the basketball. That's why I can say that she's already settled and happy staying here.
As basketball is the main sport in the Philippines, it's no surprise that the local court attracts their Filipino friends.
I think there could be definitely more training for teachers, especially in rural schools like Minsterley, because it has sort of been a little bit the blind leading the blind and, you know, just having a go to see what works, what doesn't work, and really we've just been trying to find our feet with her. But because Beverly is so responsive, it's been actually quite easy, and it has been a pleasure to have her in the class.
Within the past, children like this were given much more time, and today the funding is not there to be able to do that at a time when we have a lot more children like this coming in. I know that I was quite nervous about it because I thought, you know, how am I going to get on with this? Ruth has made that very easy.
The children we found are very adaptable, incredibly adaptable, and also we found that the parents just want this to work successfully, and as long as you keep a good dialogue going with the parents, that is a great help. Thankfully in this case the two children's parents do speak English to a very good level, so we've been able to communicate very well with them, and also I think seek the support of the local authority. Certainly the Shropshire Multicultural Development team have been very supportive.
Ruth is happy to share her poem about leaving the Philippines in English.
Goodbye. Some things are very difficult to do, and one of these is saying goodbye. Saying goodbye to your childhood friends and even to your loved ones. I owe you my life and my future, and now, in this end of the year, even if it is hard to say, to you who supported me, goodbye.